Krishna Chaitanya Dayal Prabhu Nityananda.
Hello guys, welcome to this week's video on Asana practice. Today we have Tati as the model, Tati. So we're gonna start laying on the back, so we can lay on the back. And we're gonna start in Supta Tadasana. So we're gonna straighten the legs also. We're gonna keep the big toes together and we're going to flex the feet. So this is extension of the feet. This is extension of the feet, or when they call it pointy feet, and this is flexion of the feet. So we're gonna try to keep a quite engaged flexion on the feet, and we're gonna try to keep the big toes together, okay? So we want to have this feeling that the toes, they are going closer to our body, and the heels, they're going away. So you want to get that extension from the back side of your leg all the way down towards the heels. So the heels are going away from you and the toes are closer to you. And the big toes, they're gonna stay together. And we're gonna keep these legs the whole time in the next exercises, okay? So from here, we're gonna slightly bend the knees. So bend the knees and we're gonna place the feet on the mat. So we're gonna place the feet on the mat. And from here, we're going to adjust the lumbar area. So we're going to lift up the butt. We're going to lift up a little bit only. And then with the hands, you're gonna try to roll your butt towards the heels so that we can extend the lumbar area. Now you can do the opposite. What's the opposite? You see, when the butt is rolling in the opposite direction, the lumbar is coming up from the mat. So we want to avoid that, and that's the reason why we're lifting the butt and we're extending all this lumbar area towards the butt, and the butt is extending towards the heels. So we're gonna try to keep this, and now we're going to raise the legs. So raise the legs, and again we're gonna try to keep that flexion in the feet, and we want to extend the heels all the way up. One of the most important things here is that we can keep the glutes touching the mat, because sometimes when we lift up the legs in line, the heels in line with the hips, sometimes the legs, they go over the hips and then we start to lift up the glutes. So we don't want that. We want to keep a line in between heels and hips. We want to fully extend the knees, completely fully extend the knees. We're going to flex the foot, big toes together, and we're trying to ground. We will try to ground the legs down into the glutes, okay? So we're going to keep this. Again, it's very important that the whole lumbar area is touching the mat as well, okay? So now from here, this is an exercise by itself, which requires pretty good awareness in order to ground the legs from the heels down into the glutes. So this is an exercise by itself, and it's also really good for the abdomen. So the abdomen is engaged. We are not sucking the abdomen, but the real action is to try to get the lumbar to touch the mat. And from that action is that we want to engage the abdomen. So we're going to keep this, and then really slow, we're going to start to take the legs down. Very slow, Tati, very, very slow. And try to notice when the lumbar is lifting up. So when the lumbar is starting to lift up, then you stop and then you come back up. And then you do it again. So we're gonna do it 5 times. That is quite good with the lumbar. So she's gonna go all the way down. And then when she's about to touch the mat, she's gonna stop and she's gonna hold it there. So go down, go down, go down. Slowly, slowly. Stay there, stay there. And now try to get that extension in the legs. Flex the foot. And try to get all the mat, all the lumbar to touch the mat. And you will see how the abdomen is nicely engaged. And now lift up the legs. And we're gonna do it 5 times together. You also have the option to pause the video and you can do it more times, okay? So now full extend the legs, slowly go down and try to keep that awareness of keeping the lumbar the whole time down in the mat. That was 1. Let's go for 2. We go 3, keeping the flexion is full flexion. Remember, the toes are coming to you exactly like that. How many times?
4.
4. And one more. Stay there. We stay 1, 2, lumbar down. And inhale, come up. And now flex, bend the knees, place the feet on the mat. And now we're going to lay on our stomach, okay? So we're going to lay on our stomach. Again, the same action is gonna happen here with the lumbar. So we want to roll the butt towards the heels, and we don't want to let the lumbar to arch like this. So can you arch the wrong way? So you see, we don't want this. We want to let the gluteus and the whole buttock area to roll towards the heels like we did in the previous asana. Now we're going to extend the back, the arms back. We're going to place the forehead on the mat, and the shoulders are going to be passive in the beginning, you see? We're going to try to keep the big toes together, and possibly we want to touch the heels as well. Now we're going to lift up one of the legs. We're going to extend that leg back, then we're going to place it again on the mat, and we're going to do the same with the other leg. So we're going to lift up the leg, we're going to extend all the leg back, and then we place it on the mat. And we want to keep that extension. Now from here, if you see, the whole body should be passive, and we will start by rolling the shoulders back. So the shoulders are going to lift up from the mat, and then we're going to lift up the hands and the arms, and they're going to be in line with the shoulders. So we don't want to lift up the arms too much. We want to keep them in line with the shoulders, and we want to start getting this extension in the shoulders, this activation in the back. And here you can also learn the actual position of the shoulders that you can keep in other asanas. It's a really nice asana to understand how to actually roll the shoulders back. Now from here, we're going to lift up the legs up. We're going to lift the legs up, and very slowly we're going to lift up the chest. We're going to look up, and we're going to stay here for 5 counts. We stay 1, we stay 2, we stay 3, we stay 4, we stay 5. Slowly we go down, place the forehead on the mat. We're going to rest for a couple of breaths, and we're going to do it 5 more times. Now, something very, very important about Shalavasana, this is called Shalavasana, is that when we lift up, we're going to lift up the legs, we're going to lift up the torso. They have to be lifted up in opposite directions. So the head is going into this direction to the front, and the legs are going into the back. So we don't want to lift them up towards the sky. They want to extend in opposite directions, and from there we start to lift up, okay? If you didn't understand, you can maybe ask for a specification, or we can explain a little bit better this, but the extension should be to the sides and not only upwards. So we're gonna do it again. We're going to change the order. So we're going to lift up the legs first. So lift up the legs as much as you can, Tati, more. Now we're going to roll the shoulders back, extend the arms, lift up the chest, and now look forwards, and we stay 5. We stay 1, we stay 2, we stay 3, and we want to imagine that there is a person pulling us like I'm doing with Tati in this direction, and then there is another person that is pulling us like they're pulling us from the head into the opposite direction. And we rest, place the forehead down, forehead on the mat, or like that you can cross the arms, and then you can look to one side, but then you have to look to the other side. Good. Now again, feet together, heels together, arms back. We're gonna do it only 3 times, okay? So we don't do it 5 times because we're in the sun, and I think that is starting to sweat a lot. Yeah. So now we're going to lift up the arms, rolling the shoulders back, arms in line with the shoulders, arms up. We're going to lift up the chest, lift up the face, the head. And now at the end, we're going to lift up the legs as well. And we stay 1, we stay 2, we stay 3, we stay 4, and 5. Slowly and gently, we release the asana. So try not to sleep when you release the asana, but try to somehow digest the actions that you're working on. Now we're going to twist a little bit. So you're going to bend the left leg to the side. The hip is going to be in line with the knee, and the knee is going to be in line with the ankle. So it's going to be a 90 degrees angle. And now we're going to take the right shoulder to the left side. So the right shoulder is going to rest on the left side, and then with the left hand you can place it on the butt, and then you can twist deeper. And we're going to stay here for 5 counts. We stay 1. How does it feel? Is it good? 2. So you're using your right hand to go a bit deeper in the twist. And this twist is coming down and to the side. We stay 4, 5. Slowly come back so you can get the shoulder out. Straighten the left leg. And now very gently bend the right leg into a 90 degrees angle. Again, hip in line with the knee, knee in line with the ankle. And we're going to get the left shoulder all the way up to your right as much as you can. And then the right hand is going to be in the right glute, pushing down and then helping to go deeper in the twist. And we stay here 5. We stay 1. We stay 2. We stay 3. We stay 4. And 5. Slowly come back out of the asana. So let's get the shoulder out. We're going to straighten the leg. And very gently, you're going to roll to one side and you're going to sit. We're going to sit in Dandasana. So sit in Dandasana. Dandasana is the mother of all the sitting asanas. So it is Tadasana for the standing asanas. So here Tati, she's quite good, of course. She's the teacher. So she's quite good in Tadasana. But usually, like in my case, it's very difficult to keep my back straight like this. So instead of rounding the back, what's happening when the back is rounding? You see?
It goes like this, just like when the fall back.
Yeah, exactly. You see, so you're gonna start to get a lot of pressure into the lumbar. It's like you are sitting in your lumbar. So you don't want to sit in the lumbar. You want to straighten the back so that you can sit in your butt. Something very similar that you were doing in the first asana. If you turn it around, you will see that it's the same. She will be laying on the back and we will be lifting this up, and we want to get the glutes down in the mat like we were doing. So we want to keep the sitting bones grounded, and if you feel that you're collapsing too much into the lumbar, you have to sit higher. And the reason to sit higher is so that you can straighten the back and that you can sit on your butt and not to take any pressure into the lumbar. Okay? So we want to get an elevated surface, so we sit higher so that we can sit on our butt and we can extend the back up. Now we're going to place the hands on the sides of the hips, and we want to bend the elbows, and we don't want to bend the elbows, and we don't want the elbows to open to the side. So the elbows, they are bended and they want to be back. Like you can even get the elbows so much back that you feel like you want to touch the elbows in the center of your back. So try to touch the elbows in the center of your back, and from there, keeping the same action that we were working of keeping the lumbar back, not collapsing in the lumbar. Remember, like if you were laying down and then you're trying to press your lumbar to the mat, and from there you want to start to open the chest as much as you can. So this is the base for Dandasana. And now from Dandasana, we're going to bend the left leg into Marichasana. So one leg is Dandasana, one leg is going to be Marichasana, and the Marichasana leg is going to be outside of the glute. So the heel, if possible, is going to touch the glute, the heel is going to touch the glute, and then it's going to be outside. So you can take a little bit more out, more out, more out. There is fine. And now the foot is going to roll in. So the toes are going to be in, and the feet, the heel is going to be out. Maybe you can do the other leg so they can see. Now we are disturbing Tati here. So here we can see the toes are going inside and the heel is going outside. And now we're going to again take the hands back. We're going to lift up the right arm.
Do we do this side first?
Mm-hmm. We're going to lift up the left arm. And then very gently we're going to twist to the right side. We're going to hug the right knee, and we're going to try to twist as much as we can. In the beginning, the head is following the direction of the chest because we want to twist the torso. And if we look back, then we start twisting the heads like that. Look, just move the head, and then we want to just to twist the head, and then there's going to be a lot of pressure in the neck, and then we're going to only twist from the neck. So we want to look forward in the direction of the chest, and we want to start twisting from the center of our backs, spreading to the shoulder, and the shoulder is moving into the elbow. In that direction we want to twist. All the center of my back is twisting to the side. And the knee, we're hugging the knee with the arm. The chest, from the center of the chest, is equally opening to the sides. And now at the end we can twist the head, and we stay here for 5. We stay 1, we stay 2, we stay 3, we stay 4, we stay 5. Very gently come back to the center, release the leg, straighten the right leg, bend the left knee. Now we go to the other side. So we're going to inhale, lift the right arm up. And in the exhalation, you're going to twist, hug the left knee. Now we can see here more clearly how to go deeper into the twist. From the center of the spine, we want to twist all the side of my back. And it's going with the pressure of the shoulder. So we're trying to use that pulling sensation that is coming from the arm hugging the knee, and we want to move all the side of my back into that direction of the shoulder. And from there I want to go deeper and deeper. The shoulder is staying back. And we stay here for 5. Again, the head is following the direction of the chest first, and then at the end we can twist to the left side our head, and we stay here 5. So we stay 1, we stay 2, we stay 3, we stay 4, and 5. First, release the arms, come back to the center, straighten the legs. And now for the next one, you can maybe move a little bit forward because you're gonna take the arms back. Mm-hmm. So, no, like that is okay. We're gonna do Purvottanasana. So sit again on the mat.
Ah.
Yeah, just a little bit forward because otherwise your hands are gonna be out of the mat. Yeah. So we're gonna start from Dandasana. We're gonna bend the knees. Mm-hmm. Now bend the knees, place the feet on the mat, and we're gonna take the arms back. If you see, there is a nice distance in between Tati's butt and the hands, so the torso is inclined, but she's not collapsing in the torso. Now you see, so she's inclined, but she's not collapsing. She's inclined, but she's trying to lengthen the back. So we did in the last asanas, that we were trying to get the lumbar to touch the mat. So we want to keep the lumbar back, and we want to extend the torso from the hips all the way up to the shoulders. And with the help of my hands, I want to push and start opening my chest as much as I can. Now, if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, we can start moving the feet more forward, and you can go to the tip of the toes. So try to go on the tip of the toes. Yes, lift up the heels. Yeah. And now, this is the good part of this asana. So we're going to bend the elbows back, and then at the same time you want to open the chest as much as you can. So you understand the action. You bend the elbows back, but at the same time you resist and open the chest. So bend the elbows, resist and open the chest, resist and open the chest. So you bend the elbows back and open the chest and stay there. And we want to get this really nice opening in the chest without pushing the lumbar too much, but we want to open and create the arc only in the dorsal area. And we stay here for 5. We stay 1, we stay 2, we stay 3, we stay 4, and 5. Slowly straighten the arms, start walking your hands back, and now you can stand up and we go to Ustrasana. So now we're gonna be on our knees. The knees are going to be together, the heels are going to be together, and we will sit on the heels if possible. Otherwise, you can maybe sit on a pillow, or if you have a block, you can also sit on the block. But ideally, you can sit on the heels so that you create that pressure that you need to have on your feet and ankles, that you need when you lift the butt up. So we keep that pressure sitting on the heels, and very gently you're gonna start to come up into the base of Ustrasana. You're going to separate the legs hip width apart. And now it's very important that we keep this pressure on the shin bones in the lower leg. We want to keep that pressure in the mat. Now we're gonna take the hands to the hips first. We're going to roll the butt down like we did in the previous asana. So the butt, the lumbar is not arching. So what will be the opposite? You see? The opposite will be, yes, you can even do it without the hands so that they can see how the lumbar is dropping. So we have been trying to extend the lumbar, we have been trying to roll the butt down, and we're gonna do it here. So you're going to take the hands to the upper butt, and you're going to roll the buttocks down like we did when we did Supta Tadasana. Again, the lumbar wants to stretch like there was a mat or there was a wall in your back. Then the ribs are going down and the sternum is extending up to the sky. So we're gonna keep these actions and keeping a line in between knees, hips, and shoulders. We're going to start to take the chest as up as much as you can. And you can use the breath. So inhale, take the chest up. Exhale, try to hold the pose. So when we exhale, we don't want to release the pose. We want to keep what we are working. So in the inhalation, we extend, we open the chest, sternum up. And now we can take the hands a little bit more down into the back of the thighs without dropping too much in the lumbar. And you can see here how we start to drop in the lumbar. So the lumbar should not be the one arching in this moment. The one that should be arching in this moment, it should be the dorsal. Like if there was a person pushing your scapulas into your body and keeping and trying to lift the sternum up. So lift the sternum up, 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 up. And we stay here for 5. We stay 1. We stay 2. We stay 3. We stay 4. And 5. Now slowly release the hands. You're going to lay on your back. And again, we're going to do Supta Tadasana. We're going to try to give a space to digest the impressions that we've been working on the practice. Again, we're going to bend the knees slightly. You're going to roll your butt with your hands, extend the lumbar, and then you're going to straighten the legs one by one. In Supta Tadasana, it's like doing Tadasana standing, but of course we're laying now. So Supta means laying. So we want to keep the big toes together. Again, the feet are gonna be in flex. We're going to extend the arms, and now we're gonna close the eyes. Before entering into Shavasana, we can be in Supta Tadasana. And we try to understand what's happening in the body. We give space for the new impressions. We give space to understand. And very gently, we can just drop the Supta Tadasana and start to fall into Shavasana. So we can separate the legs. We let the feet roll. We're going to open the hands, and the hands are gonna face upwards. And here in Shavasana, I'm gonna leave you guys an open Shavasana where you can stay from 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and there are Shavasanas that are maybe 1 or 2 hours where we are not sleeping. Shavasana is a discipline, it's an actual asana, but it's more a place of observation. So let's try to be in Shavasana as much as you want, and when you feel ready to come out of Shavasana, very gently you will come up as you know how to come up. Thank you very much.